are done with the red ball fixtures, and we've seen quite a few red ball games in 2022 if we talk about that. But let's talk about now the format, which hasn't been getting the attention that it probably did get in the past. We're talking about one days, and we're going to have three of those in this India tour of South Africa. After a 2-1 defeat, of course, India will be looking to make some sort of a comeback in this particular tour and win this as they did the last time around when they toured. And to talk about this ODI series, with me I have Mr. Abhishek Mukherjee joining us at Cricket News Live. And sir, let's get into it. We were talking about this after the last live. ODIs are not getting the attention that they have been getting in the last decade or so. What's happening with this format?
Um, I think it'll fizzle out. I mean, uh, I can't see ODI. I mean, we have a fourth format now, the 100. But
Yeah.
the test cricket will be preserved because though it is a relatively modern format, people insist that it's the purest form. I'm not sure what they mean by that. But yeah, I mean, it's relatively modern, but it's considered the oldest format for some reason. So it will stay. It is packaged that way.
Yeah.
So as long as
It's
they
been
can
giving
have,
us some fine thrillers in the last one odd year or so. I think the best
has
of
been,
cricket games have come from Test cricket. We can safely say that.
yeah, but there have been some fantastic T20 matches as well.
There have been
I
too
mean,
many T20 matches, is one thing that we can say, because that happens every year now.
yes, because see, last year I followed a match very closely. Uh, Canada needed to score 2 runs in the last 3 runs in the last over, 5 wickets
Yeah.
in hand, and Brazil took all 5 wickets. So that is something you won't get to see in a test match.
Yeah.
But you'll get to see other matches. So the two formats have produced thrill of different, what do you say, genres. ODIs have probably run their have probably run their course. I mean, ODIs have the problem with ODIs is they have been not the problem is not that there are very few these days. The problem is that nobody misses them.
But they still are the format which is, played in cricket's oldest world tournament, which is, of course, the World Cup, the 50 over World Cup. Do you think for
No,
that reason alone, the format will go on probably for
yeah,
longer
it
than we are
may
expecting
be
it to?
something like the FIFA World Cup essentially, because in football, I mean, international football is not the, what do you say, not the backbone of football.
Yeah.
It is club. So, I mean, ODIs, I can see them being played just for the big tournaments.
Probably have qualifiers instead of bilateral series, and everyone except the host country for the next World Cup
See,
or the
if you
winners play those
if
qualifiers.
if you have a World Cup consisting of 10 teams, then only about 12 teams in the world will be, and if you have a World Cup consisting of 10 teams and 8 of them qualify automatically, then
Yeah.
nobody outside about 12 teams in the world will be interested in that format. T20 is far more inclusive.
Yeah.
Not only does the uh, not only do the associate nations play, every associate nations plays, but there is also there is also the franchisee backup. So if a cricketer
Yeah.
does not make it to the 11,
Yeah.
they will definitely make it to a franchisee. They probably make it to a franchisee team, if not in their country, in some other country. There is no such
Yeah.
backup in ODIs. So in I mean, ODIs do not have that kind of support to be sustainable. Unless something is done, this will be they will be retained. I mean, they would retained only through some forgettable and forgotten bilateral series and ICC tournaments.
Yeah.
Something needs
Yeah.
to be
But
done to revamp them.
Yeah, we can at least go with a 16 team World Cup as it happened in 2007. We were talking about
Yes,
this as well the
yes.
last time around. And for
Anything
that reason, yeah,
more
it'll be
than
good to
16
have those
team World
qualifiers.
Cups, it should only the champions and the hosts should qualify automatically. The others should be made to qualify from through regional tournaments.
Yeah,
So that means South Africa has to play Namibia.
doesn't
India
even
has
matter if
to,
you've won the World Cup 5 times.
yeah,
You have to
de-
play it unless
defending
you've won it
champion
or
and
are
host.
hosting it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, defending
yeah,
champion and host. So and India
yeah,
has to play Nepal.
yeah. They'll
So
garner some interest. I'm pretty
yes,
sure they'll
yes,
garner some
yes,
interest.
yes.
Yeah,
Australia and New Zealand will qualify almost certainly, but they have to play Papua New Guinea. I
yeah,
mean, that is the only way forward. Otherwise, how do you keep? I mean, Test cricket is already a 12-team tournament, 12-team
yeah,
format. If ODIs are also restricted within about, I mean, we say that ODIs are played by more sides, but how many of them actually play the top sides? And we saw what happens when they play the top sides. Ireland recently beat West Indies in West Indies. But how many of
yeah,
these series happens? When is Ireland going to tour India for a three-match
yeah,
series? When is say Netherlands going to tour Australia?
yeah,
Unless these
yeah,
happen, it will remain as closed and confined as Test cricket, which is a battle T20 has already won. It is the most
yeah.
inclusive of formats.
Yeah. Well, probably need to keep an eye out for this format. That's what we need to do. So let's dive into the series that is on our hands right now, the three-match one-day series between South Africa and India. South Africa, of course, coming on the back of that Test series win. India, it's a new beginning for them, isn't it? The last played a one-day series in July, and that was sort of a B team. Not the most probable players in that particular series. Most of them were in England, and the only other series they played was the three-game ODI series at home against England. So there's been a gap as far as the ODIs have been concerned as well for India. But going into this series, what are some of the positives that you look at, including the fresh start for KL Rahul as ODI captain in this particular format?
Yeah, India's top three will probably be India's last three ODI captains, Rahul, Dhawan, and Kohli.
Yeah,
And yeah, I mean that is not something you see every day. And I mean, as per predictions, India's next ODI captain is probably a fourth one. So India will probably have four different captains in four different series.
tell you what,
I
Rahul
don't know
Dravid's
how this
stint
is. Yeah,
getting more and more interesting as far as the captains are concerned.
yeah.
Yeah. KL Rahul, of course, going to be India's 26th ODI captain. Shikhar Dhawan
Mhm.
was the 25th. And well, he's spoken to good length in the press conference on the eve of the match. And some of the points that he has given us is, of course, he said that he would want to open in the absence of Rohit Sharma. But that has opened that Pandora box of KL Rahul's place in this format. We saw what he can do batting at 4 and 5. We were talking about that one-day series India played against England. Scored a century of some 60 odd balls in that match, and probably was the innings for India in that particular series. Where do you see him in position to the World Cup, the 2023 World Cup? Because he has said that this series is very much pivotal as far as India's preparation to that World Cup is concerned. We're not going to have those many series going into 2023.
They say that before every series.
Yeah, because it's a good
If
thing to say
it's
basically
if
that
it's
you're
against a
prepping up for
yeah
the
yeah
World
if
Cup
it's
a year
against a
before. Yeah,
if
yeah,
it's against a major team, they say this is going to be a pivotal series. If it say if it's against a minor side, they say what this may be so and so, but we are taking this seriously because there's a World Cup next year. That's the usual
yeah.
template. Let us not, but also every series is important. To be fair,
I think this has been going on for a lot of time, for a long time, since in the preparation to the 2011 World Cup. We've seen this cycle repeat itself in India, sort of start using this,
I
or
don't
any
know.
other
I
team
mean,
sort of start using this statement before 3 years before or 2 years before a World Cup is coming.
See, oh, I don't know what kind of preparation is this for a World Cup because you last played an ODI in last year. You played an ODI in England, in India against England. That
Yeah,
was and after that you sent a second team to Sri Lanka, right?
Yeah.
And that was it. So I'm not, I mean,
I think
I'm
it's
not
more to do
sure.
with how every country and every cricket board is perceiving the format, isn't it? That's what we're
Again,
talking about.
again, I don't think ODI cricket has a very long future. It will last the 2020s. It will probably last halfway through the 2030s, but it'll probably die out after that.
Let's hope Abhishek Da is wrong. I would sincerely want him to be wrong here. But let's come back to KL Rahul. What do you think of his position in the 11? Where do you think he should ideally look to bat?
See, India. I mean, Rahul. If Rahul wants to open, he knows. Remember that he may have to give up that spot once Rohit is back.
Yeah,
He will, when if he and he won't be able to bat at three either because that is Kohli's place. So essentially, if he opens now, he will do that with full knowledge that he may have to drop to four.
yeah,
So, and with that in mind, if he still does this, then I'm sure he knows what he is doing and will be doing for a reason.
yeah,
Because
yeah,
India's top three are the best top three in ODIs. Maybe
yeah,
probably England can match that firepower, but no other side. There's no doubt about this.
yeah,
So it is
yeah,
very difficult to break into that. But having said that, Rahul is an opener. Rahul opens in T20 cricket. He probably likes to open, and Rohit is 35.
yeah,
So, and remember, cricket injuries happen very regularly these days. In fact, Rahul has had a decent stint in the 2019 World Cup. Once Dhawan got
yeah.
injured and had to leave mid tournament.
Did get a
So
century and a half
it
century.
is
Yeah,
not necessarily about where you bat, but also to check whether you're ready to bat at the top. Yeah,
yeah,
and
yeah,
remember, I have no idea how the what the pitch is like. There are some reports coming, but none of them concern the pitch. So it is very natural for South Africa to prepare a bouncy pitch.
yeah,
Why will they prepare anything else? And for that, maybe a specialist opener is required.
yeah, yeah,
A senior
yeah. Well,
specialist opener, the captain walking out, maybe to take first strike or something. That is that may be a decent thing to do instead of
yeah,
exposing a youngster,
yeah.
because
Speaking
it
of
is very
youngsters,
unlikely
India.
that India will get a flat pitch after the Test series. They are going to get bouncers.
Yeah, yeah. Speaking of that, as far as youngsters are concerned, India do have some exciting options in that lineup. Of course, Venkatesh Iyer would be a good start for him if he does get that. As far as the ODI format is concerned, we'll be speaking about him at length. Ruturaj Gaikwad, of course, in the squad, and these are some of the youngsters you would want to give as many chances as possible. Because talking about Venkatesh Iyer, KL Rahul also mentioned that having that sixth bowling option is really important. And with Hardik Pandya no longer in that picture as an all rounder, he's someone you would want to give as many chances as possible. But as far as batting is concerned, we saw him come a lot lower down the order, which isn't really something that would
You
benefit
can't
him
break.
batting
You
wise.
can't break through to the Indian top three. It is a question of either you adjust to now to a top four if Rahul is there. So you
Yeah,
adjust to batting in the death overs, or you don't
yeah,
get picked.
yeah,
It has come to that essentially. So the thing is, in ODIs, I have always believed that you need a minimum of five bowlers, a minimum of six bowlers, six not six bowlers, but six people who can bowl.
yeah,
We saw what happened to Siraj in the second test match. What if that happens to a specialist bowler after he bowls 2 overs in an ODIs?
yeah, yeah,
You need to have six bowlers. I'm not even talking about bowlers having an off day. I'm talking about bowlers pulling a hamstring and having to walk off the ground and not being able to bowl. What happens after that?
yeah,
What happens if he bowls if two full tosses slip and he's banned from bowling for the rest of the innings?
yeah,
So, which is where Hardik was important, which is where someone like Sundar might have been important. I mean, if you could
yeah,
add him as a batter. But I don't think India are looking at him that way, though he has batted far better than bowled in Test cricket. And I think they are exploring Iyer for that reason as well. The sixth bowling
Yeah.
option is very important. Now, since India started playing ODIs in 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, 2000, half of 2010s, they always had that someone who could give a few overs. Not even Tendulkar, Ganguly, Yuvraj or Sehwag. I mean, Yuvraj or Sehwag. They at least had Suresh Raina who can give them 3-4 overs. He was not a 10 over
Yeah.
bowler, but Raina could give you 3-4 overs. They could always they could have. I mean, Kohli used to bowl a lot more. Say about 8-9 years ago, Rohit used to bowl a few overs. They don't bowl anymore. Someone has to. Well, I've
Yeah.
never seen Rahul or Dhawan bowl. I mean, I have seen Dhawan is banned by the way from bowling for illegal
Yeah.
action.
Yeah. Yeah, I think this we did talk about during the Sri Lanka series when a lot of players were being left out from the team because of the COVID-19 concerns. We were talking about how many bowling options India will have, and then it did bring into picture.
Which is why Krunal was also very important.
Yeah, yeah,
But at this point, Venkatesh seems to be the only option. I'll still check the squad once. Yeah, he's the only option.
yeah. Well, seems difficult to make place into that 11, even for the likes of Surya Kumar Yadav, Shreyas Iyer. But let's talk about the bowling department a bit. Ravichandran Ashwin, of course, is there, and so is
Will he
Yuzvendra
play?
Chahal, return of Bhuvneshwar Kumar. That's what we're
Will
going to
Ashwin
talk about.
play?
That's what you take. I think you can find a way for him if you're going for him as a bowler in this format,
If
not
it's a hard
as.
bouncy pitch, if it's
Yeah,
a hard
yeah.
bouncy pitch, won't India go in with four fast bowlers and Chahal and Iyer?
Chahal is, of course, going to be the first option as far as spin
Yes.
department is
Well,
concerned.
do
Yeah.
Ashwin plays only if the pitch has something in it for him. He did not impress in the test matches. Of course, ODIs are a different format,
Yeah.
but unless there is something for the spinners, I can't see Ashwin play.
Yeah. What about the four seamers, four or three seamers? That can be the case.
The
Shardul
vice
Thakur,
captain is
Jasprit
playing.
Bumrah, Deepak Chahar, of course, vice captain Jasprit
Yeah,
Bumrah is
I
playing. And
sincerely wish he gets to lead India at least once in any format.
yeah, I think we saw a
I'm
Photoshop today in the morning of Jasprit Bumrah and Pat Cummins at the toss. That would be some sight.
oh I really want to see fast bowlers lead a side.
Twitter will alive it as as fast as possible on that day. I don't know what the tweets will be about.
not all rounders, but fast bowlers, not spinners, fast bowlers. I've seen Kapil Dev, I've seen Anil Kumble,
Yeah.
but Bumrah is in the team
But
for
come
only
on,
one thing.
Lord's 2021 enthusiast will term Jasprit Bumrah as an all-rounder.
I'm sure he thinks himself as an all rounder.
Of course, he's done the hard
Come on,
work at the
come on.
nets. That's
In the
what's come into fore.
in the where was the third test? Cape Town. In the first innings in Cape Town, he batted at 9.
And in the second innings, I think he came at 11. That
In
was the
in
reshuffling which we couldn't
Australia
understand.
last year, he scored a 50
Oh
in a
yeah,
tour
yeah,
game,
against
and
yeah,
then he got promoted as night watch at number 3 against Mitchell Stark.
Adelaide, yeah, yep, that happened. Yeah, we can definitely term him, but just for the sake of fandom, I think that'll be something. Let's come back to
Yeah,
the ODIs now. Let's talk about South Africa a bit because they'll be pumped up going
they are
into
also
this
playing,
ODI
right?
series. Yeah, we need to talk about the other team. They're the hosts. We need to talk about them. Let's give them the value that they deserve. And and I think one of the best parts about this particular South Africa.
Otherwise they may speak into the microphone accusing us of always focusing on the other team. What if they do that?
Supersport will still be broadcasting the next three fixtures. So yeah, let's just get into the discussion. Temba Bavuma, I've loved him as a leader. He's just one, and he's as strong as Dean Elgar as far as leadership skills are concerned. And we saw that at the T20 World Cup alone. And is someone who has been in good form with the bat in that Test series. Also, we have to talk about how they're both. Okay, I just saw Marco Jansen in that all-rounder bracket, and then wow, gee, the number of all-rounders going into this series. If we also
Yeah,
count Jasprit Bumrah there, Quinton de Kock returning for the ODIs. That's going to be a
that'll
big
be
plus.
nice. That'll be
Yeah,
nice. And okay, here is a quiz. What do you think Rasi van der Dusen's batting average is?
batting average
In ODIs?
should
He has scored
not.
over 1,000 runs, so it's not a small sample.
I think it'll be ridiculously good or ridiculously bad.
65. 65.
Whoa. Wow. That is something.
Yep.
That really is something. And he did. Okay, let's not mix the T20Is with the ODIs, but he was in a good form in the T20 World Cup as well.
Yeah, I think this is going to be the man India will fear the most.
Yeah. That middle order batter you don't want to wait for, and yet do
Mhm.
want to wait for in terms of getting him restricted. But yeah, David Miller, of course, is going to be back. So, Aiden Markram, of course, continuing. But we did talk about Aiden Markram not having a good test series. And so, this again is going to be a big test for him.
Yeah, see, if the question is how they are going to use Decock, how and where.
Yeah.
So, if they push Decock to the top, then of course they can. I mean, then of course they can bring in Markram at 3, given his form. So the question is whether they will do that or just preserve Decock for a late burst. Because again, I seriously think that this pitch, the pitches they are going to prepare are going to assist fast bowlers, and
Yeah.
India's and new ball will be on one hand power play, but it will
Yeah.
also be the perfect opportunity for fast bowlers to pick up wickets. So it can work both
Yeah.
ways.
Yeah. Yeah. The bowling lineup is as fiery as India's. Tabrez Shamsi is going to come in for them, and that's the bonus you want as far as spin bowling is concerned. He'll be that first pick in terms
I,
of spinners.
I, I can't remember the last time a wrist spinner did well against India. Indians do poorly again, oh, not poorly. Indians
Good. Yeah.
do superbly against wrist spin, not so well against finger spin. This has been a trend for decades now, and that includes people like Shane Warne.
Who's the player you would be most excited to look in this South Africa lineup?
Excited, Decock. Definitely, I love watching him bowl. I love watching him bat. But yeah, uh, I have been a Decock fan for a long time. I don't know what happened to him, but Decock is someone I would really be excited. And of course, there's Rabada.
Yeah. Yeah.
Throughout the Test
The,
series, I have talked about Rabada about 50 times. I am not going to stop talking about him.
who will? Who will? Of course. I think he, alongside Jasprit Bumrah, they're the two bowlers you sort of look in all formats as these prime pacers in this particular generation.
Yeah, I mean, which is why all the more reason I think Rahul wants to open himself and keep Ruturaj
Yeah.
basically one or two places down the order. And for the
Yeah.
same reason, I believe that they may not pair Leacock and Markram. They may
Yeah.
make one of them bat down the order. I don't know.
Yeah.
This is just speculation. But if the pitch assists fast bowlers, and then I don't think they will open with both.
Yeah. Yeah. But final thoughts before the first ODI. What do you think is going to be the result in the first game? And do you see India going easily away with the win, or is it going to be as tough as it was in the
I
Test
think South
series?
Africa will win the series 2-1.
South Africa. 2
Mm-hmm.
1,
Mm-hmm.
same margin.
Yep.
If you've been watching cricket news and are an Indian fan, there's no good news as far as Abhishek Mukherjee is concerned. But let's just keep our fingers crossed. We did see India lose 2-1 last
I
time
don't even
around
know
as well. And then
when India last played. Okay, when did India last play with a full team overseas? ODI
in
with a
which
full team
format?
overseas. ODIs.
Uh,
Not one, not a
2020
single
against
2020 in Australia,
against
and
Australia.
before
Yeah,
that, before the pandemic. So
before the pandemic, I think the
that was
last
New Zealand.
series.
New Zealand.
Yeah, it was supposed to be India South Africa in India.
Yes.
The first match got cancelled, and then the entire series got cancelled.
First
But
match
yeah,
was a rain thing, right? First
rain,
match was
rain,
not
rain thing
COVID. Yeah, yeah.
In Dharamshala. Yeah, I guess. Yep,
Dharamshala or Kanpur, I've forgotten.
I think Dharamshala.
So essentially, in the past 2 years, India have played just one overseas series with a full
Yeah,
team, ODI
yep,
series. That is the kind of practice India are taking with them.
yeah. Second was Lucknow, as our producer Utkarsh has just
Mm.
told. Please, you can't take away Lucknow from Utkarsh's conversations. He will be there if we do make Lucknow miss out on some cricket. But tell you what, if you do join Cricket News for the rest of this series and for the rest of the series that are to come your way, you won't miss out on any of the cricket action. Thank you so much, Abhishek Mukherjee, for joining us today. We will be here talking about India, South Africa, and all the other cricket that's coming your way. Thank you so much for joining us today. Stay tuned.